Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
To demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Hope you had a good weekend. Let's jump into it, see what we're dealing with today. Alright, today's the 16th. We've got a moon sign here of Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, and we have a sun sign, which is Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. So we're dealing with fire, and we're dealing with air. Fire is words and actions. Fire are ideas. Air is words and actions. So we have the words and the actions underneath coming from the subconscious mind, the Gemini, and the conscious mind is that fiery, those ideas. So the conscious mind has these ideas that are being fueled from the subconscious mind, the Gemini. The words, the actions underneath. So that's how things work. Just remember how air and fire work together. You don't want too much air because it puts the fire out. You don't want too much fire because it chokes the air out. You want them to work together nicely because then they can create something really cool. Okay, moving right along. You see our full moon is coming up tomorrow. Okay, current moon phase. We are just about there. It shows 100% full. So we're in that phase now of the moon. Over at Spaceweather, our Mayan Oracle. Today we're at the Blue Galactic Hand. The Blue Galactic Hand. Galactic tone is tone number 8. It's called the Galactic Tone of Integrity. Integrity means staying in the groove, where you are, with who you are, being in integrity with what you're about. And so this is about our integrity, staying in our integrity, staying in the groove. So today is the integrity of accomplishment, guided by the monkey, which is magic. So the phrase for today is I harmonize in order to know, modeling healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with the galactic tone of integrity. I'm guided by the power of magic. Over at Spaceweather, solar wind is currently at 447.3 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is between a 1 and a 3. Here's our big old hole in the sun making its way away from us. But we remember we still are getting hit from wind that came from there prior to today, so we might be expecting that today. M-class flare possibilities back down now to 25%. X-class is at 5. And geomagnetic storm activity is pretty low as well. Here's the suspicious observer report for today.
Good morning, folks. Let's start how we started last night's evening news. The best part of having this podium of sorts is seeing how fast we all find answers together. The question I posed yesterday was about the 15% loss of magnetic field compared to the 10% that we've reported the lifetime of this channel. Here are the best findings, starting with ESA's own swarm mission, which you might remember I guessed was the source in yesterday's morning news. Indeed, their 2013 PDF linked below has that figure buried deep within. But hold the phone. British Geological Survey's Geomagnetism review of 2012 contains that figure as well. Clear as day. But egg on my face further still. Let's go back to early 2011, before even the creation of my channel on YouTube. Given this media site, I'm assuming their data came straight from the Canadian and US governments. It is what it is. I've been wrong for 2 years, and now I'm feeling red-faced about it. 15% is the mark we will use for the fade in our shield. Now let's yank up that new Earth-Wind map, and again, big thanks to David Jenkins for the share. I've zoomed in on the North Pole because as Syria, Jerusalem, and Egypt watch 100-year snow records crumble, there's a counterpoint north of Europe, where doubled lows in line are yanking mid-latitude air and injecting it directly into the polar regions. On the leading east edge of the convergence, we see a draw from the latitudes of Hispania all the way north, and I'm going to bet that affects the ice recovery in a significant way. Let's come back down south, South America, where the rain isn't stopping along that same general drench and accumulation lines we've had our eyes on. Wouldn't be shocked to see some more flooding or landslides. Things like this infuriate me. At the bottom of the page they've got more related articles as well. Essentially, this is what our online communities have thought for a while. Sonar and other sound and energetic testing is detrimental to the wildlife. Whales won't feed and will actually flee areas where these tests are performed. Not so proud of my species on this one. Let's kick it to space weather, where we haven't seen a gamma burst in nearly 2 weeks. Got some low-level sea flaring, but nothing major. Nothing indicative of solar maximum for sure. Visual intensity of the Earth-facing group belies the lack of flare danger. See good size, but all negative up north. Positive in the middle. The only complexing magnetic stuck between cannibalizing umbral cores, unable to gain power, and turning away from us now. Solar wind metrics are all dropping off. Wake of the space weather kept the KP above zero, but it's at very low levels. We are dead in between coronal openings at the moment. Incomers not represented on ISWA, but the southern group is. Top quake while I slept hit Gibraltar. It's an unusual location in the 5 magnitude range. RSOE alert map has it downgraded to 4.7 and the USGS is ignoring it completely. Canada, Peru, and Vanuatu with minor rumbling. Take a moment to notice all the filaments present on the Earth-facing disk. All are eruption threats, but the biggest ones can make significant CMEs, more so than the little ones obviously, so I've labeled them for reference with 193 angstroms. Got some more shots of the New Earth wind map, and our star to close. Eyes open. No fear, it's 5:55 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.
Alright. Very good. Alright, so today, what I want to do is I'm going to go to a piece today about 9/11. 9/11. False flags. The reason I want to deal with the false flag issue is because we need to be reminded from time to time that our government and our agencies around the world are involved with false flag events against the American people. And if we don't remember this, if we forget these things have occurred, then they're just going to keep occurring. The strange fact that in society these days, here in America, we've dropped down in science, we've dropped down in math, we've dropped down in our ability to read. In the testing that's been done, we're not even in the top 20 in any of these categories. The science of 9/11 is found by looking at the science of 9/11. But if we don't have the scientific ability, the knowledge to be able to figure that out, no wonder these crimes continue to go unsolved. We have to learn to be able to solve crimes much better than we do watching the television shows at night and solving the crimes on those shows. We need to learn to be able to use our thinking process to be able to solve the crimes that occur in everyday life. The big crimes, because they're happening all around us and they're happening pretty fast and furious, no pun intended. So if we don't pay attention, we're going to be in trouble. And for many of us, as you know, that there's a lot of trouble because people haven't paid attention. But for those who are paying attention and those who are desiring to be awake, the information is out there. And so this is a piece, I know you've probably seen it before, but it's a good refresher and pass it on to others. This is a piece about 9/11. It's a 10-minute piece to summarize kind of what went on. This is Blueprint for Truth. This is a scientific perspective on it. So check this out. Here we go.
you so much. My name is Richard Gage, AIA. I've been a practicing architect for 20 years, and I'm a member of the American Institute of Architects. Let's take a look at World Trade Center 7 now. It was 47 stories tall, what would have been the tallest building in 33 of our states. It was not hit by an airplane. Let's take a look at the evidence of World Trade Center 7 and see how it stacks up against the typical features of a controlled demolition, starting with, is there a sudden onset of destruction? Let's listen to this emergency word.
We were watching the building actually because it was on fire. The bottom floors of the building were on fire, and we heard this sound that sounded like a clap of thunder. Turned around, we were shocked to see that the building was, it looked like there was a shock wave ripping through the building, and the windows all busted out, and it was horrifying. And then, about a second later, the bottom floor caves out, and the building followed after that, and we saw the building crash down all the way to the ground.
Do we have a straight-down symmetrical collapse into the building's footprint? Let's listen to Dan Rather narrate this collapse for us as we take our first look at the collapse of Building 7.
Now we go to videotape the collapse of this building.
It's amazing.
Amazing, incredible, pick your word. For the third time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
Let's take a look in this side-by-side comparison with a known controlled demolition on the right. Did the building fall into its own footprint? Pretty much so. Do we have demolition waves? And how do these remove the column support? Well, here's a floor plan of Building 7. Now, to bring a building smoothly, symmetrically into its own footprint without falling over, what we have to do is remove the core columns, because what we want to do is bring the outside of the building in on itself. Now, this involves a high degree of precision that fire is not capable of. Do we have a free fall speed of collapse through the path of greatest resistance? You can see second by second the building gaining downward momentum. You can plot the drop distance on a graph of time, and it fits the free fall curve almost perfectly. What does this mean? That the columns had to have been removed, and removed virtually simultaneously on each floor, synchronistically timed, so the building had no resistance virtually on the way down. Do we have a total dismemberment of the steel structure? We had a 47-story skyscraper compressed to 4 stories. Do we have sounds of explosions, though? How about Kevin McPadden?
This was a boom, and like you felt a rumble in the ground, like almost like you wanted to grab onto something. That, to me, I knew that was an explosion. There was no doubt in my mind.
Do we have enormous clouds of pyroclastic smoke from the pulverized concrete? Watch the concrete entrained in the air racing down every street in each direction at 35 miles an hour. Do we have pools of molten iron? Here is Building 7 at A and B, and here is the North Tower and the South Tower. These hot spots are 1,340 to 1,370 degrees. These are the temperatures of the hottest office fires. There was no fire on the surface of Ground Zero after the collapses. What are we measuring here? We're measuring the molten metal that was seen by these first responders. Let's listen to John Gross, lead engineer of NIST, tell us about the molten metal from his perspective.
First of all, let's go back to your basic premise that there was a pool of molten steel. I know of absolutely nobody, and no eyewitness who said so, nobody who's produced it.
You'd get down below and you'd see molten steel running down the channel rails. Like you're in a foundry.
Like it was
like
lava
lava
from a volcano.
No eyewitness who said so.
It actually melted
beams where it was molten steel that was being dug out.
No eyewitness who said so.
Underground, it was still so hot that molten metal dripped down the sides of a wall.
Nobody who's produced it.
What is the problem here? Somebody's lying. I'm going to leave it up to you to make your own conclusions. How about chemical evidence, though? What produced all this molten metal? And what is thermite anyway?
Thermite. An incendiary used by the military, thermite is a compound of iron oxide and aluminum, which when ignited sustains an extreme heat reaction, creating molten iron. In just 2 seconds, thermite can reach temperatures over 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit, quite enough to liquefy steel.
Dr. Stephen Jones performed chemical analysis on the previously molten metal. Dr. Jones received no less than 4 separate samples of World Trade Center dust, some of it from Jeanette McKinley's apartment across the street, where the windows blew in and filled her apartment with dust. Another sample was found like 10 minutes later on the Brooklyn Bridge. Well, he takes this and he puts a magnet over it, and he finds that there are small particles that come up to the magnet. Some of them are angular, some of them are round. They look like this. If you had thousands of cutter charges going off in the columns and beams throughout the building, and they were under this incredible pressure, what you'd see is something like this. Tens of thousands or millions of tiny droplets. What's the shape of those droplets? When a liquid is dispersed like this, its surface tension forms itself into almost a perfect sphere. Would there possibly be any unignited thermite pieces in the World Trade Center dust? Indeed, he finds it. It also comes up to the magnet from his dust samples. Many chips. This one, 1/16 of an inch long, red on one side, gray on the other. The red side is composed of tiny iron oxide particles and aluminum. The Lawrence Livermore lab came out with papers about this stuff. The particles being so small allow for almost instantaneous ignition between the two chemicals, the aluminum and the iron oxide, producing very explosive results. He continues his study and finds additional chips that are partially ignited, with spheres embedded in them. With Dr. Jones and his small team of scientists, through EDS, XRF, and WDS, identifies the components of these spheres and chips, predominantly iron, along with aluminum, oxygen, silicon, 1,3-diphenylpropane. The results, coupled with the visual evidence, he says, at the scene, such as the flowing hot liquid metal, providing compelling evidence that thermite reaction compounds were deliberately placed in both World Trade Center towers and Building 7. These results are documented in a peer-reviewed journal. Let's listen to what FEMA did conclude, because it is interesting. Evidence of a severe high-temperature corrosion attack on the steel, including rapid oxidation, sulfidation, and subsequent intergranular melting. Very interesting. Remember, office fires don't melt steel. What melted this steel? Capable of turning a solid steel girder into Swiss cheese, like this former wide flange column from the structural steel in Building 7. Now, they document this very carefully in their Appendix C. I believe we've shown that Building 7 matches all of the features of controlled demolition in the classic sense. Thank you so very much.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. Today's UFO News report has 6 stories. Story number 1 comes to us from Virginia, and this is CBS footage, and it's in the background. The National UFO Reporting said that 2 UFOs were reported last week in the grand old state of Virginia. The first of the 2 was seen on December 7th, and the other was spotted on the 10th in Yorktown. Many viewers of the 11 p.m. newscast at CBS 6 observed something that streaked across the sky near the landfill of the East End, Henrico, on December 9th. Viewers particularly referring to the light in the background of the station's cameras while rolling. Are extraterrestrial life forms attracted to coal ash? Did Santa travel early this year and conduct a test ride of his sleigh? Did the Man of Steel DVD release make a promotional display? The video shows a defined streak of the same activity can be found in another clip. Many ruled out the possibility of a meteor shower, as the full meteor showers started in December. It has been hard to reach anyone at NORAD. At the North Pole has been very busy lately. Okay, let me play this again because it does happen quick. Nope, apparently not. Alright, one more try here. Here we go. Let's see the. See it? That was it. That was it, real quick. Okay, next story. This is Tijuana, Mexico on the 13th. There's our object. Looks like we have a plane going by at the same time. There's no explanation, just the video itself, and it does say UFO metal sphere with chemtrail plane. So yes, a plane with chemtrails. And what are chemtrails? What's the difference between chemtrails and contrails? A contrail will dissipate pretty quickly as it comes off the plane. You notice them all the time. Plane goes by, the line dissipates pretty quickly. A chemtrail stays for a long time and then it spreads out. Alright, there's our object in question over Tijuana. Okay, moving from Tijuana, let's jump over here to Volcano time. Popocatépetl. Two different cameras around Popocatépetl. Both are balls to see. Question is where the orb of the movie, the red diamond cause, I think, comes from, why it's reflected with the sun. Okay, so here we go. Here's our live cam shot that we have over the volcano, and we've got, looks like we've got one right there and one right there. Okay, again, there's up here and down here are the two objects. Now we can see this is some sort of reflection, but that's not what that is. Very interesting. Okay, there's the sighting over the volcano in Mexico. From there, we jump over to space. Triangle UFO or DARPA TR-3B craft discovered near the space station. Okay, here's that image right there. See it far away, closer, closer. Near the space station, there is a triangle UFO between it and the Earth below. This could, however, be one of the three TR-3B triangle USAF secret craft, which runs on alien technology. It's hard to say for sure, but the shape fits. Of course, many UFO science triangle craft have been seen, so if this is a real unknown, exciting discovery no matter what it is. So good catch. Question is, was it a mistake that if it is the TR-3B, the secret craft, did they mean to fly underneath and get photographed? If so, their secret is out. Moving from there, this goes a story about Roswell, New Mexico, the UFO museum there. A popular attraction in Roswell is undergoing... Okay. And we disappeared. A popular attraction in Roswell is undergoing its most dramatic makeover ever. As KOB Eyewitness News 4 found out, it starts with what you see from the outside. The UFO Museum is a big part of downtown Roswell. What started out as an old movie theater is now an international attraction, and now it's getting a different kind of attention, a makeover. New signs, new paint, and according to museum manager Mark Briscoe, a whole new look. We're trying to be a little bit more modern, be fresher, cleaner, updating, says Briscoe. A patch of dirt downtown is transforming into a UFO park. All right, there's more on this article right there. But if you've been to Roswell and you've been to the museum, you know what it looks like. A little update might be interesting to see what they have in mind. And one last piece here says this Christmas, give or receive a UFO detector. UFO detection just got a little easier thanks to, well, the UFO detector. Should you or your loved ones be preoccupied with the little green men of the cosmos, it could make the perfect Christmas gift. For sale on Amazon, the UFO detector continually monitors its surroundings for any magnetic and electromagnetic anomalies. Should the UFO detector encounter any electromagnetic disturbances, it will beep, and 16 LED lights will simultaneously flash, signaling the certain arrival of extraterrestrials. The product description reads, more than 1/3 of Americans believe in UFOs, and 1 in 10 Americans believe that they have seen a UFO, according to a study by National Geographic Channel. UFO sightings are reported all over the planet by thousands of people. The real question is whether UFOs are interstellar vehicles visiting Earth. Most UFO sightings can be classified as misidentified aircraft, planets, and aerial phenomena, but not all of them. There is a small percentage of UFO sightings that can't be explained by any known aircraft or natural phenomena. It is this small percentage of UFO sightings that create an exciting possibility. Over the years, the real UFO sightings have reported simultaneous electromagnetic disturbances, but there's more. Not only is it useful, but it comes in an elegantly designed, transparent plastic case, which doubles as a handsome, sculptured conversation piece. The 100 online customer reviews are a more mixed bag, it must be said. One of them is this little gizmo is a bargain at twice the price and much more accurate than the voices in my head. Alright, so there you go. If you're looking for a gift, the UFO detector. That's our UFO news for today. I'll be back momentarily with more news. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth. People should not be afraid of their governments. Government should be afraid. 9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right. Continuing on. Time to demand the truth. What do you think about that? I know what you think about it. But what do the people that you know think about it? They're always not into it, huh? All right. A little Obamacare humor to keep us going. I mean, this is just getting to be comedy now. That's all this is, comedy. Today on the old Bungler Report, 50 to 60,000 paper Obama applications still haven't been processed. Oh no, who could have seen this coming? Well, the Obama administration boasts that the front end of healthcare.gov is supposedly working better. The government reportedly still has to process over 50,000 paper applications it took when the site was all but inoperable. The stunning number was buried in the Washington Post report on Friday. Even though healthcare.gov has been working better since the start of the month, there are still reasons why people may have trouble getting coverage. Amy Goldstein reports for the Post. One significant reason is that the federal marketplace has accumulated a backlog of 50 to 60,000 paper applications, as cracks have appeared in the low-tech method offered this fall as a backup plan, according to government officials. While the Post reports that the government has hired an outside contractor, Serco, to help the process of backlog, it remains unclear how long this might take. Well, folks, you can see Obamacare already has you waiting in a line, okay? Waiting in a line for Obamacare because it's such an awesome thing. But who's running to get this Obamacare? Which people are not paying attention out there, do you think? Apparently, lots of people aren't paying attention that are running to it because that's still a lot, 50,000. Why would 50,000 people sign up for something when they're told how bad this is? Why? Okay, Brother Nathaniel. I know you like Brother Nathaniel. Let's listen to what he has to say. This is called The Mugging of America. Here we go.
The mugging of America begins every December with what I call the Jewish War on Christmas. The main muggers are three Jewish groups: the ACLU, led by Stephen Shapiro, the ADL, led by Abe Foxman, and the American Federation of Teachers, led by Jewish lesbian Randy Weingarten. The ACLU forces towns across America to take down Merry Christmas signs, whose finances pale before the bulging coffers of the ACLU, largely funded by Jewish billionaire George Soros. The ADL voiced its December Dilemma program on our public schools, removing even the slightest mention of Christmas. The name of Christ has been stolen from our children's lips, but Happy Hanukkah gets a free pass. And the AFT installed the atheist policy of the Soviet Union, replacing Christmas break with winter break. But somehow there's no December Dilemma for the Jews every year with their 40-foot Hanukkah menorah on the White House lawn. It's the Jewish mugging of Christmas. The foundation of our strength as a nation has been eradicated. A morally corrupted nation is a helpless target, no match for Jewish muggers. And now the mugging of our money is the Jews' latest assault on our hapless country. The former governor of the Bank of Israel, Stanley Fischer, a dual citizen of Israel and America, whose loyalties are obvious, will soon be joining Janet Yellen, the third Jew in a row to chair the Fed, as vice chairman. Two Jews will now be gouging us with interest on the Fed's loans to the U.S. Gov. It's a happy Hanukkah wish come true for American Jewry. Now that we've all been mugged, you'll love the movie Death Wish. Charles Bronson plays an architect working in Manhattan who's suddenly transformed into a vigilante after his daughter is raped and wife is murdered by muggers. making himself an easy mark by flashing cash and sitting alone in subway cars late at night. Bronson sets the trap and the muggers take the bait. The cops finally catch up with him, and after promising to reform his ways, for he did act in self-defense, he's sent to Chicago with a brand new job. It's a classic closing scene.
Welcome to Chicago, sir. Did you have a nice trip?
Yeah, it was okay.
Good, good. I found a nice apartment for you. Hope you're going to like it. It's on the Lakeshore Drive. You have a view of Lake Michigan, morning sun. We've got your office ready, too. There's a very good golf club you can play. Listen, I think you'll enjoy it here.
Excuse me.
So next time you hear Happy Holidays or even Happy Hanukkah, you'll know you're being mugged. Just say, "Excuse me," and go like this.
All right, there you go. Brother Nathaniel. Always classic. All right. You might want to sit down for this story here, because this is going to surprise you. Because I know you know about Obama and his links with terrorism, that the Egyptian government is actually saying he is a Muslim terrorist in our country. Now that's sad that that accusation is out there in the world, because if true, then we're in a big mess. And if true, it's really sad that it slipped by America. So this news here might catch you as some kind of a shock here. You ready? Hillary Clinton, according to this report, tied to terrorism. I know you. It's hard to believe. You thought she was a perfect woman, next president. Another complaint has reportedly been filed with Egypt's Attorney General, Hisham Barakat. According to multiple Arabic sources, this one said to allege that the wife of ousted President Mohamed Morsi not only admitted in an interview with Turkey's Anatolia news agency that she sought to excite domestic insurrections to overthrow Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, but that she collaborated with Hillary Clinton. I don't know what else to say other than Who would have thought? I mean, there was the stories that Hillary worked with an assassin. I just kind of thought that was a piece of the puzzle, a clue. The stories of what happened with Benghazi and her incompetence there, I thought that might have been a clue, but I just didn't see this one coming, that she's linked with terrorism. You know I'm kidding, right? Okay. Here is a piece. It says, only took this Army vet 3 minutes to destroy Obama's gun control plan. If there's ever been a speech that anyone needs to see regarding Obama's plans, take this one. In this clip, we see an Army vet that serves as a police officer to speak the motion to repeal the SAFE Act at the Dutchess County Legislature, New York State. His name is Aaron Weiss, and he has quite a bit to say. Let's just listen to what he has to say, rather than me reading the article. How about that? This is from March 11th.
Hello, my name is Aaron Weiss, and I live in the town of Poughkeepsie. I'm a combat veteran of Iraq, and I'm also a law enforcement officer. I attended the Public Safety Committee's last meeting in regards to this resolution, but I didn't say anything because I wanted to hear what everyone else had to say. And I heard some shocking things from some people and some legislators. They said that it took a lot of courage to pass this SAFE Act. Apparently my definition of courage differs from yours. You see, if it was really so courageous a bill and it took so much courage to pass it, then why was it done in the middle of the night when no one could see it or read it? That's not courage. That's a mafia-style sit-down to divvy up what's good for the bosses. Courage is taking the right and true course of action, not the politically expedient one. And anyone who is proud of this law must also be proud of the Patriot Act, the TSA, and imprisoning Japanese citizens in World War II, since all these actions were spurred on by emotional fear and rammed through in the name of public safety. Another issue is the insistence of certain people to stand on the graves of dead children and challenge those that disagree to say it to the parents' faces. Well, I, for one, will pick up that gauntlet. First off, why is dead children your battle cry? You didn't say anything about the hundreds of Chicago children being killed, and for some reason you only scream when it happens to wealthy white ones. And yes, I will say to anyone's face, my right is more important than your dead, because I fought for it firsthand. I washed the blood of my friends out of my Humvee, and I picked up their mangled bodies, and I fought day in and day out. I did more things that you people can't imagine. So yeah, my right trumps your dead. I earned it in blood. I gave up a lot for this country, including my youth, and better men than me gave up a whole lot more, so that all you, myself included, could enjoy the rights that are guaranteed to us in our Constitution and Bill of Rights. And we didn't go through all that to come back home and watch the surrender of what we fought for happen based on the demented actions of a couple madmen. So in closing, I would like to address specifically the legislators we all know who are going to vote against this resolution. I understand you will vote against this resolution based on some misguided sense of the public good. However, as a law enforcement officer, I'm curious to know about your true resolve. Since voting to take away someone's rights is totally different than being asked to enforce it, I want you to consider this. If you support the SAFE Act so wholeheartedly, are you willing to stand with law enforcement members and lead from the front to enforcement? And what I mean by that is if a constituent of yours feels so alienated by this law and the manner in which it was passed that they refuse to comply with it, are you willing to stack up on their front door and go in first? I bet if a clause was in this bill that required you, the elected leadership, our elected leaders, to go in the door first, I bet you would not be so steadfast.
There you go. Good speech. Very good. Very good. All right. All right. So, you may or may not have heard, but the Chinese have landed on the moon. That's right. Not people, but a robot. Chinese first lunar rover deployed successfully from the unmanned spacecraft Chang'e 3 that landed on the moon Saturday. Jade Rabbit, called a U-2 in Chinese, is a six-wheeled lunar rover equipped with at least 4 cameras and 2 mechanical legs that can dig up soil samples to a depth of 30 meters. The solar-powered rover will patrol the moon's surface, studying the structure of the lunar crust as well as the soil and rocks for at least 3 months. The robot's name was decided by public online poll and comes from a Chinese myth about a pet white rabbit of a goddess, Chang'e, who is said to live on the moon. Weighing 140 kilograms, the slow-moving rover carries an optical telescope for astronomical observations and a powerful ultraviolet camera that will monitor how solar activity affects the various layers, troposphere, stratosphere, and ionosphere, that makes up the Earth's atmosphere. China's Information Technology Ministry said in a statement, the Jade Rabbit is also equipped with radioscope heater units, allowing it to function during the cold lunar nights when the temperature might plunge as low as 180 degrees Celsius. That's 292 Fahrenheit. The moon exploration makes China one of the 3 nations after United States and the former Soviet Union to soft land on the moon's surface, and the first to do so in more than 3 decades. All right, well, you know, this would be a good opportunity for that rover to just go on over to where the moon landing by the Americans took place. And then they can go and they could capture the whole thing, and that would put to rest the story whether or not the moon landing was a hoax, right? If they go by and there's the rover and the lander and there's the flag, then we know. It's a good thing. So I'm sure that the question will come up. I've already seen it in some forums. I'm wondering if that's going to happen. So we'll find out, won't we? We will find out.
My feeling is that it's not that pseudoscience and superstition and New Age so-called beliefs and fundamentalist zealotry are something new. They've been with us for as long as we've been human. But we live in an age based on science and technology with formidable technological powers.
Science and technology are propelling us forward at accelerating rates.
That's right. And if we don't understand it, by we I mean the general public, if it's something that, oh, I'm not good at that, I don't know anything about it, then who is making all the decisions about science and technology that are going to determine what kind of future our children live in? Just some members of Congress? But there's no more than a handful of members of Congress with any background in science at all. And the Republican Congress has just abolished its own Office of Technology Assessment, the organization that gave them bipartisan, competent advice on science and technology. They say, we don't want to know. Don't tell us about science and technology.
Surprising, the danger of all this. I mean, you know, this is not the thing that...
There's two kinds of dangers. One is what I just talked about, that we've arranged a society based on science and technology in which nobody understands anything about science and technology. And this combustible mixture of ignorance and power, sooner or later, is going to blow up in our faces. I mean, who is running the science and technology in a democracy if the people don't know anything about it? And the second reason that I'm worried about this is that science is more than a body of knowledge. It's a way of thinking, a way of skeptically interrogating the universe with a fine understanding of human fallibility. If we are not able to ask skeptical questions, to interrogate those who tell us that something is true, to be skeptical of those in authority, then we're up for grabs for the next charlatan, political or religious, who comes ambling along. It's a thing that Jefferson laid great stress on. It wasn't enough, he said, to enshrine some rights in a Constitution or a Bill of Rights. The people had to be educated, and they had to practice their skepticism and their education. Otherwise, we don't run the government. The government runs us.
Those are very wise words. So perhaps that makes a bit more sense then why the education really isn't pushed and encouraged like it used to. And maybe there is some, plan that is working itself out and that education standards are going down. Because this is a problem. Where are we going to go? We're 24th in science. There's 23 other countries better in science than we are. How can we say we're number one? We have a long way to go before we're number one in that department. A long way to go. And if the education standards right now are so low that we're 24th, what's the chance that we're going to move up the ladder? Not unless something changes. Not unless something really drastically changes and we're getting to the point where decisions are being made. And as Carl just said, there's not enough information to go out there. People are making decisions and they don't know because they're not learned, they're not interested. And so we're leaving it to others to say, oh, you do it. Okay, this is what everyone needs to know about their chakras. Each of the 7 chakras, and this is from Deepak Chopra, each of the 7 chakras are governed by spiritual laws, principles of consciousness that we use to cultivate greater harmony, happiness, and well-being in our lives and in the world. The root chakra, known in Sanskrit as Muladhara. Alright, what's going on here? The root chakra, known in Sanskrit as Muladhara, is located at the base of the spine. It governs your most basic needs. When chakra is clear and energy flows through freely, we feel secure and confident. We can feel all of our needs. However, when blockage in this area causes us to feel anxious and worried. So this is a good piece. Talks about all the different chakras. We deal with this when we do our meditations. Root chakra is the first chakra, bottom of the spine. It's where you draw the energies from the earth. That grounds us, those physical energies. Then we have the chakra above it. Second chakra, creativity, emotions, right around the belly button, orange. The third chakra, or energy chakra, right below the solar plexus and the rib cage, below the rib cage and the solar plexus area, yellow. Then we got the heart chakra, green. The throat chakra, blue. This is where we communicate with the world. And then the third eye, the intuition chakra, as he calls it, this is indigo, right between the two eyes. And then the crown chakra, or the 7th chakra, or consciousness chakra. This is top of the head, violet, and then the light continues on as bright white light. So this is a nice, good article dealing with the issue of chakras, so that you can go ahead and learn and read something there you might find interesting. All right. So let's move away from here now into our message today. It's from Archangel Michael. There we go.
Archangel Michael, you are immersed in a field of energy that you have never experienced before.
Channeled by Romhead, December 12, 2013.
Archangel Michael,
let us speak today of your approaching solstice. We would wish for as many of you as possible to prepare yourselves for that event. It is true that you have a solstice twice a year, every year. And it is true that for many, if not most, this will seem no different than it ever has been. We would point out, however, that you are in a portion of the universe that is totally unique to this time. You are immersed in a field of energy that you have never experienced before. And you are approaching an even more intense experience of that than you can possibly be aware of. Even those of you whose perceptions allow them to anticipate what is coming, have nothing to help them understand the impact this will have upon them and upon your entire world. Many who do feel it, having nothing to compare it to, interpret it as something fearful. Nothing could possibly be further from the truth. It will seem for many of you that you have received an immense gift which you could not possibly deserve. This also is not true. Understand that you are the ones making that judgment. The universe does not operate on judgment. The universe operates on cause and effect humorously. You are somewhat limited in being able to remember all of the causes you have made. You are also somewhat limited in understanding the truth of who you truly are. We see your understanding of those things as being a bit expanded in the near future. What we would wish for you to consider doing is to set aside some time on the day of solstice to spend time in meditation, in groups if possible, alone if necessary. And receive in gratitude the light which will be flooding your world at that time. If you are alone when you do this, understand that your intent to be included in the collective will be enough. This one day will shift your world more quickly onto the path you desire. This is true always, but we and you look for times to best implement these things. If you are able to join a group, intend that all of the groups be as one also. In this way great change will be made. We will of course, celebrate this with you. This is a time of joy, of a feeling of peace, of celebration. We extend our loving embrace to you in this season. Good day.
Alright, very nice message about the upcoming solstice. And let's check out here with the little angel. You have a gift. Fulfillment comes from sharing that with others. Alright, you have a gift. Fulfillment comes with sharing that with others. So share your gifts, my friends. Share your gifts. Alright, last but not least, meditation for today. So let's get to it. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. I want you to imagine that you are waking up from a sleep. And as you wake up and you notice the space around you is kind of closed in. And it's dark. And as you reach around and you feel a wall around you, barrier. So you push on this barrier and it cracks. And you push it open and you realize that there you are inside an egg. And like a newborn, you have just been hatched, birthed into life. And you climb out of the egg. And you stand there in the sun, and as the sun hits your body and fills you with energy, you begin to grow. And you grow and you grow. And you find that all of the past problems and worries have dissipated. All the fears and the doubts are gone. And ahead of you, a clean slate of opportunity. And so in this moment, just take time to give thanks for being at this moment. For here in the present is the opportunity to create that which will be the future. And we give thanks to the past. And thanks for letting go of the past so that we could move to this moment. And from this moment, we think positive thoughts, peaceful thoughts, loving thoughts about a world filled with peace and love and harmony. And we imagine sending love all around the planet to each and every individual. And imagine feeling the love being sent to you from around the planet. And as you go into the world today, just take with you this message of love. As we move through the cycles of time, which keeps moving on, just share with everyone you meet the love that shines upon you from above and all around. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, sending out love, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you very much for being here. Hope you enjoyed the information. I'm not going to be doing a show tomorrow, and probably over the course of this next week, it's going to be off and on. It's going to be off and on. So I'll be back soon enough, and as soon as I have something, I'll post it up online. And until then, check out some of the past shows you haven't seen and the website, and I'll be back sooner than later. That's it, and until then, have a good day. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.